Another thing that happened recently was we went and saw the opening or the open month of the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints
Wow,
Temple,
yes.
aka the Mormon Temple. We talked a little bit about it last week with Junior. But I went to see it, and man, was it grand. Was it ever. Took my missus, took my daughter. Some of our work peeps came, and we got taken through by some of the volunteers of the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. Yeah, people say you shouldn't call... They don't like being called Mormon anymore, but Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints is kind of a mouthful.
Wait, for real now? I thought there was a different type of religion, Latter-day Saints, to Mormon.
No.
I thought Latter-day Saints was more like Seventh-day. Is this another different?
My understanding is that they are one and the same. Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints reference the Mormon Bible, or the Book of Mormon.
Right.
So the same Bible that most Christian churches use, and the extra book called the Book of Mormon, which is why they're known as Mormons. But that's not all they believe in terms of, like, they believe in the whole Bible. So if they're called Mormons, then everyone else should be called Bibles. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, it was so cool. Before you went in, you had to have like a hairnet, but for shoes. What are they called? Shoe covers?
Shoe sock.
Shoe sock. And they had volunteers like sitting on the ground waiting for people to walk up, and they'd put these shoe covers on your shoes. So you didn't have to take off your shoes to go in the temple, but you needed to wear these things. And as soon as they said it, I was like, watch this. This is going to be the biggest feat these people have seen. And but I know. No. It was fine. They had special big sizes for me.
Nice.
Put it in and walked through, and yeah, all I can say is that it was grand. The what do you say instead of Mormons? Give me a word to use right now.
The temple people.
The temple people were so warm. They were so welcoming. They were so informative. When they didn't know the answers to some of our questions, they told us they didn't know. We went in through the front, and then we ended up finishing on the side, or to all the rooms, the baptism room, the sealing room, the teaching room, I forgot that was called, the changing rooms, the bridal room, all the way up into the celestial room. And this is a representation of God the Father, and this is where you go to have quiet time and to hear from the Lord. And not everyone is allowed in there. You have to have completed your ordinances, I believe was what they told me. But because the temple hadn't been dedicated yet, the public were allowed in to have a look at these things. And that was probably the biggest letdown of all, as all the rooms were so beautifully immaculate in their design and their purpose, that I thought the celestial room was going to be like a grand ballroom of pure white silk, curtains, lace dressings,
like
golden
Beauty and the Beast,
candlesticks.
the waltz room.
Yeah.
Where they do that with like something like that.
Yeah. And it wasn't. The room was probably, I don't know, 6 by 4 meters. The ceiling was about 6 meters high, and it just looked like every other room. There was nothing special about it. There wasn't like if you go to other religions, they'd have like a shrine in the middle where you'd go and lean up against and pray, or there'd be a picture of Mother Mary and candles that you could light. The room was just a big wooden heavy ass table in the middle with a beautiful bouquet of flowers and furniture strewn about the room. Yeah, so I mean, I can imagine how it would be nice and peaceful in there, but in terms of calling it a representation of God the Father. But the temple people were fantastic. The whole experience was awesome and gave us a lot to talk about as a family afterwards.
Who'd you go with? Just your family?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's about learning more about my fellow human, being open to other experiences, and what the humans are experiencing in their own lives and in their own walks. And no one is ever going to get a chance to go in the temple again once they dedicate it.
No.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's super
very cool. I enjoyed it. I'd give the whole experience probably a 9 out of 10.
That's great.
Yeah. The only reason it doesn't get a 10 is because the celestial room was a little bit underwhelming. There was no food. And...
No food?
Yeah. And there's another one. I forgot. Oh, and because it was kind of a conversion outreach for the temple people.
They recruiting.
They were recruiting. We had to watch a 15...
Yeah, everyone's trying to spread the good word, right?
We had to watch a 15-minute video about their temple and why it was important to them, and it told us a lot of things about the religion and what they believe in. And the script that all the temple people were sharing for each part of the room was word for word. Because I found one of the scripts in one of the rooms I was in. I think they must have left it behind, and I picked it. It was laminated, and it had the heading, the title of each room, and what each room's purpose is.
Wow.
And I wanted to take it with me, and my king, like, Albert music, don't just leave it. Someone's probably going to come back for it. And I go, no, this doesn't belong here. It's obviously out of place.
Yeah.
They forgot it.
You didn't steal from a temple.
I wasn't stealing. I was going to use it to inform the rest of my tour, because I found it right at the beginning in the very when we were watching the video. After the video, it was our time to go into the temple.
Right.
But the people in the next room had finished their video before us, so they went first, so we had to wait for them to clear the hallway before we could go. So we had another 5 minutes in that room, and everyone was walking around and looking at the walls and the paintings, and I went straight over to the piano, and I peered just over the edge of the piano, and there was a laminated sheet of paper that was just about to fall down. And I pulled it out, and it was
it
the
like
script.
someone's cue cards, or was it like
Yeah.
word for word their presentation?
Word for word, the presentation.
Oh.
And then, like, the brief 30 seconds I was looking at it, I heard each of the rooms say,
Really?
yeah,
Hey, they're organized.
very organized. I mean, if you're going to represent our church, you have to represent it the way we want it represented.
That's true.
Yeah.